Well, there it is. What we've been saying for basically 2 years. That this thing was never getting made, and it's just another boondoggle by Lucasfilm. Okay, we don't need to read about that. The latest Star Wars story to hit the pause button is Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's Star Wars film, which will include the much-anticipated return of Daisy Ridley. The movie was first announced at Star Wars Celebration in 2023 and has since stopped and started through the development process. The latest update on the movie comes from Entertainment Insider Daniel Reitman, who reported on his Patreon that the Rey movie is on hold once again. Reitman reiterated that the project is not canceled, but is temporarily on hold. No, it's not on hold. You don't announce stuff and then 2 years later say you're not doing it. This is so pathetic. Stop announcing stuff. Like, if you're not going to make it, don't announce it. According to Reitman, this is so Lucasfilm can prioritize Sean Levy's Star Wars Starfighter and James Mangold's Star Wars Still Untitled movie. As the Untitled Rey film hits the shelf again at Lucasfilm, it's in good company. The studio has announced several exciting projects that have hit roadblocks during their development. And there is certainly at least indicators that that some of these projects, it's script related. That either the studio doesn't agree with the script, or there's issues. For example, they've gone through multiple writing teams now for the Rey movie. There was, I think it was Stephen Knight that suggested that it was just too tough to make a script. And then there was rumors that these guys are getting these scripts back and they're so covered in notes that they have to be completely rewritten. To which I did a video about that saying, I don't understand why Kathleen Kennedy just doesn't write it herself. Because if she's going to send them back and basically say everything you've done is wrong and I want it changed, why don't you just write it yourself? That's the part I don't understand. If you're so sure that the idea you have in your mind is the right idea, why don't you just go ahead and write it then? Instead of bringing in these people, wasting their time, wasting your time, wasting everyone's time. You also have to wonder with Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy and her mindset. We know from certain interviews and certain things that she has a very, very postmodern, very feminist perspective. Whatever you want to say about that, good, bad, or ugly, doesn't matter. The point is that her world has been completely engulfed in documentaries and research and interviews and spending time with abused women, particularly in Pakistan and the Muslim world. So her mindset may be making it more difficult for these writers as well, because there's certain things maybe that she sees and she wants, and that's making it difficult as well. I will say there's no way that you're going to make money on a Rey movie that's just like this ultra feminism stuff. We already got it, right? We already got Rey the Mary Sue, Rey the never any struggles, Rey the perfect female entity. We already got that. So they can't do that again. And I think I'm just guessing here, I think some of these writers know that and are trying to make it more interesting and are being shot down. I think what Kathleen Kennedy sees for this is her basically creating the new Jedi Order, being perfect, being better than Luke. It's all about elevating Rey and pushing everybody down. And is that a reflection of this sort of ultra modern feminism? Maybe. I mean, you tell me. But all that to say, when you can't come up with a script, and maybe it's just they don't have any ideas. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know where they'd go from here. But if they can't come up with a script, they can't make a movie. See, this is where Kathleen Kennedy, and this applies to these other films as well, and we'll just go do a quick rundown, but from a business perspective and from a reputation perspective, you don't announce anything until you have your script in place. Until you are ready to go into pre-production, you do not announce anything. You tell your writers, hey, I need you to write this script, I need you to be super quiet about it, don't say anything, and then, you make them sign an NDA, whatever you got to do. And then you tell them, when we all agree and this is done, we're going to announce it. But we're not going to announce it until then. Because there seems to be, yes, this massive divide between the script writers and the studio, and they can't seem to come together. I also doubt that James Mangold's movie is going to get made. I highly doubt that, the Dawn of the Jedi movie. Starfighter is going to get made, and in Starfighter, I do believe there is a cameo, probably a Rey cameo. We do hear a lightsaber go off. At the trailer they showed at Star Wars Celebration, so anyways. They don't show who it is, they just have the sound, but I'm guessing it's her. Who else could it be? I don't know, maybe it'll be Cal or something, who knows. Maybe it'll be Ahsoka. Ahsoka never dies, so she'll just be alive forever. So these are the ones that are in limbo, and this is what I mean by don't announce it until you are right there and ready to go, because you look dumb when you do that. Taika Waititi, can you imagine him making a Star Wars movie, this guy? Like, it's just, that would, I think it would be pretty terrible. Yeah, he was announced over 5 years ago after Thor Ragnarok, following the success of Thor Ragnarok. So they basically, this is Kathleen Kennedy saying, oh, somebody made a movie that made money? Quick! Give them a Star Wars movie. And then they announce it and then nothing ever happens. See, and he even hired a co-writer. And in the years since, several of Waititi's projects have come to fruition. But none of them have been Star Wars related. So again, it seems as though it's a script issue, because that's where they've stopped. They've stopped at the script. It seems like the studio wants it done a certain way. Maybe a continuation of the stupidity we've seen. And it's just not working out. Kathleen Kennedy said at Star Wars Celebration 2025, Taika's on Taika time, and that we're going to do it when the director is ready. Okay, so let's say these guys aren't working on their scripts for Star Wars because they're working on scripts for these other things and making these other things. What does that say about the brand? This is why you don't announce this stuff. Essentially, if that's the case, if she's being honest here, Taika's saying all these other brands, Marvel, this movie, Next Goal Wins, Time Bandits, all these other things are prioritized over Star Wars, which makes Star Wars pretty pathetic, look pretty pathetic. We saw the same thing with Stephen Knight. He quit to go do his Peaky Blinders stuff. So Star Wars is so on the back burner for everybody. On top of the fact that I do think they're having problems coming to agreements on scripts. I've just continually said to him, look, when you feel that you're ready and you can devote time, we're going to do it. Who runs things like this? Oh, hey, I'm going to give you a Star Wars movie because we're throwing them out like candy. Here you go. And you don't ever even have to do it. But when you're ready, you do it. If you never do, that's okay. But just do it whenever you're ready, Taika. Like, that's weird. And then announce it to the world? She's making Star Wars look awful by doing this. It's so stupid. Okay, so Rogue Squadron revealed in a flashy announcement. It featured Patty Jenkins donning a fighter pilot outfit as she shared her upcoming Star Wars film meant to her. This remains the only footage filmed for the movie, as Rogue Squadron has struggled to make it out of the development stage. After seemingly departing the film for Wonder Woman 3, Jenkins reiterated in 2022 that she committed to making Rogue Squadron. The director then re-signed her contract with Lucasfilm and seemingly turned in a new draft of Rogue Squadron. However, the film is still in development purgatory in the studio as it has not received any more production updates. So this is crazy, actually. This one's crazy to me because, first of all, she wrote a script, submitted it, and then said, see you later, I'm going to go do Wonder Woman 3, which again makes Star Wars look terrible. Once the biggest brand in the world, right? Or at least one of them. Then she reiterated that she was committing to make Rogue Squadron 2 years later, after Wonder Woman 3. She re-signs her contract, and the film still isn't going anywhere. And I suspect, once again, it's because the scripts she's submitting are not in line with what KK wants. And it looks like, and this one looks bad when you think about Starfighter, because it's sort of the same kind of thing, right? Like, I guess Rogue Squadron is a squadron of starfighters, but now they're doing a movie about a starfighter. And she's not involved, and it's happening now. They're starting filming in the fall. So what happened? What happened? Was her script just not, modern, sort of messagey enough? I don't know. It's a good question. Lando, this one's funny because Lando was supposed to be a show, and then the guy submitted his scripts, and then they said, see you later, we don't care about you anymore. And now they own them, and now the Glover brothers have access to them, and for all intents and purposes could be using them. But they're not doing anything, because again, no one can get anything done in this company because it's strange. This doesn't look like it's going anywhere, and again, so why was it announced? Wait till you receive the script and then make the announcement. Wait till the script is approved and then make the announcement. And then there's Filoni with The Mandalorian transitioning from TV to the big screen in 2026 with The Mandalorian and Grogu. What a boring title, by the way. Why is all the titles just people's names? So lame. That's one of the things that stands out with Starfighter. At least it's like not just someone's name. Or basically his name, Mandalorian. I mean, it's pretty boring. Filoni Star Wars film, which was announced in 2020. So no script, nothing done, no idea. And we're going to announce. And it's been 5 years. It just makes Star Wars look stupid. Is intended to tie the Mandalorian and Ahsoka universes together into a cinematic climactic event. Filoni's film is likely on hold. Filoni's film is bro, it's been 5 years. It's been like, are you joking? As he finishes Ahsoka Season 2 and the studio waits to see whether Mandalorian and Grogu is a success before continuing. Why do these projects take so long when they do start as well? Like, do these people not know how to make movies that takes them this long or make shows? Like, why would it take you this long to make Ahsoka Season 2? Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy. And commissioned a film trilogy from him in 2017. In 2022, he said, we're still talking about his Star Wars movie. Sure you are. Like, everything Kathy does is depleting this brand from any respect it had. Simon Kinberg's Star Wars trilogy. It just goes on and on. In 2024, we learned that Simon Kinberg was on board to write a new Star Wars trilogy, which would apparently consist of episodes 10 to 12. Kennedy confirmed to Deadline in February 2025 that Kinberg's Star Wars project was rolling fast and furiously with a draft due in June. Okay, it's June. It's June 20th. But again, you're announcing things before you have any solid foundation of what you're doing. Star Wars surefire upcoming movies. Mangold's film will explore the dawn of the Jedi. I don't think that's firm. How do we know that? The movie's development slowed after Mangold went on the awards campaign circuit for his film The Complete Unknown. But now that this is complete, his movie appears to be a priority once more. Appears to be, like, nothing in Star Wars is a priority. None of these people care about it. Starfighter has quickly been gathering steam as it aims for 2027 release date. Yeah, that's getting made. And then this will be the next Star Wars movie to release after 2026 as The Mandalorian and Grogu, and may even help set up Rey's return to her in her new film. I think that's what they're doing. I think they're going to put her in a cameo in the movie. She's going to ignite the yellow lightsaber, whatever. And they're going to test and see how people feel. And see if her cameo is well received or not. Because they don't want to take the risk of spending a whole pile of money and making a movie about her and having it flop. That would be the ultimate, like, finale for Kathleen Kennedy, is to take her brunette self-insert Mary Sue and spend a whole pile of money and make a movie where she's just the bestest ever times 10 again, and it flops. That would be the ultimate ending for her legacy. And she doesn't want that, and she's too scared, I think. This is my opinion. And so they're going to have her cameo in this other one first and see how it's received before they make any decisions. Anyway, this whole thing is all about how stupid it is. And that's why they say it's on hold, because, that's what they're doing. So by the time Starfighter comes out, it's going to be 4 or 5 years since they announced that they were going to do a Daisy Ridley Rey movie. And it took them that long to come out with a movie that has her cameo in it. This is my prediction. To test the waters. 5 years. And so, the insecurity level at the offices of Lucasfilm is so peak. They're so scared because they've screwed up so bad and they were so sure of themselves with things like The Acolyte and some of these other shows, and they bombed so badly that they are just, the insecurity level is nuts, and so they're making movies, but they're not making very many, and all of the decisions are business related. That's my prediction. This whole Starfighter thing, the only reason they're doing it is because you've got Ryan Gosling, so there's a very high probability it's going to make money. And then again, you can use it from a business perspective to test and see how the Rey cameo is received by the public. Because it's all about business. It has nothing to do with art. It has nothing to do with Star Wars being a good story. It has everything to do with message pushing and corporatism. So, anyways, do you guys think this movie's ever going to get made? And do you think this is just so funny because we've been talking about how this movie was never going to get made since, like, how long ago? 2 years ago? We're still talking about how it's never going to get made? I don't even think Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi is going to get made either. All that it takes is just some other studio coming along and being like, hey, why don't you just not do that and do this instead? And then they go, oh, yeah, sure, I'll go do that instead because I don't really want to do Star Wars. That's just kind of like a last resort because the brand's just kaputski. And nobody cares about it anymore. Anyways, let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check out anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.